Stand, would you kindly? Run! Stop! Turn. A man chooses. A slave obeys.
Welcome.
Sup.
To Would You Kindly. We're back.
We made it.
We're back again.
Here we go. We back again.
We got quite the episode.
Dude, this was an undertaking of content we went.
This is a big one. We've had a lot of big ones, but like this is very necessary.
For me, this is the biggest one we've done so far. I've never played this game.
I'm so jealous you get to experience that again. That's amazing.
Especially on PC with an Xbox controller too, which I recommend.
That's what I did. That's exactly what I did.
Recommend everyone out there, if they're gonna play it, play on the Xbox controller. I'm sorry, PlayStation. It's why I don't buy your systems.
Xbox, no, the
controller's awful.
It's much better. And what we're talking about is Last of Us Part 1, the first game.
The OG.
The OG. Remastered.
Yep.
A great remaster.
So this for me,
remake technically.
I feel like all the people that are just now playing Oblivion for the first time.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh my God, this game's amazing. I'm like, yeah, well, it was amazing, but I still played it like
when it was crappy.
Bad.
Yeah, when there was bad graphics.
It looked like it was from 2006.
Yeah, it's like Oblivion's awesome. Yeah, now
it's way better.
Yeah, now it is. We gotta get loosened up though first, dude. Let's get to our first section.
Oh, we're here. We made it.
Here, roll it.
All right. I thought I fixed that damn thing.
Every time I'm like, huh?
I guess I didn't fix it all the way. All right, I'm leading this segment because today I have a little treat for you guys. I thought of maybe doing something nice with the jalapeno tequila that was acquired a few weeks ago. But I chose violence this morning.
Always choose violence, baby.
Because content.
Yep. Content.
Okay, so I'm going to first pass out some Pringles. You guys, I have 2 cheddar and 1 sour cream. Do you want cheddar or sour cream?
I guess I'll do that. They're not really vegan, but
well, you don't have to eat it. I just kind of feel like we might need a palate cleanser after drinking.
Okay, well, I'll save it.
Are you serious? That sounds terrible.
Ooh. So here's the deal. Little short backstory. When I was in college, I don't know if we drank these because it was a quick way to get messed up or what. One of my friends, George, kind of had a bit. He was like the bit guy. In every group, you have a guy that just does bits.
Yep.
And George would just stick with any bit no matter what. So
I know those
his
guys.
bit was like...
I like George.
His bit was like bringing a really crappy pregame, alcoholic beverage to the party and chugging it in front of everybody. So I want you to keep in mind what I'm about to put on the table brings me back to my most degenerate days of college, living with 5 guys near ASU. And I don't know what else to really say. So I don't know if you've ever heard of these, but we're going to drink some Mad Dog 2020.
Oh, no. I thought he had 4 Locos. You've never had these?
No.
Honestly?
Ooh, it looks kind of good.
Can I be honest? He gave me the orange juice. I'm gonna probably drink.
So the Orange Jubilee, I have a video of my buddy chugging the entire thing in less than a minute. And
dude, I think I'm gonna like this.
My wife, I will say that my wife, when I said I chose violence this morning, and we're gonna have to try both flavors, and I have a rinse cup here. My wife,
you got that one,
bro. Wait. I almost just went. That's how you're supposed to drink.
Let's try this blue one first.
You're supposed to
drink
me
that one.
Sarah was saying that
I just poured.
You guys are probably going to like this because
I might like it.
She said this is made for like people that are just getting into drinking.
He's not though. He's like he knows his drinks very well. I don't. He's got very good taste.
To a degree. I will drink whatever though.
I have a degenerate child's taste.
It smells good.
It does smell good.
Okay, let's do some blue raspberry.
Guys, I'm not there yet. I actually poured that into my cup.
Come on,
so
dude.
now I have to.
Yeah. So the Orange Jubilee
Stop teasing us.
The Orange Jubilee brings me back to some pretty rough times.
Do you want to talk about it?
No.
Should we have a therapy session right now?
That looks like orange juice, and that shouldn't look like orange juice.
All right, let's do this thing.
How dare you? Anything can look like anything, sir. It's like Buzzball, but it's like the new What was first? This Mad Dog?
Oh, Mad Dog is old,
Mad Dog by far.
Old school.
Mad Dog is what we would consider bum wine. So like it's
I like that.
$1.99 per bottle or whatever. These are actually like $4.99. I think that
they're very cheap.
The tariffs are
You
hitting
drink
us.
the whole thing of that, you're like That's
Oh well, yeah. What's the percentage on this bad boy? Isn't it
check that
20?
out.
It's not 20%, right? That's not why it's called
I don't think
2020.
so. I do think that
Oh,
like
why
it's
is it
13.
called-
That's why it's wine. It's because it's 13%. I
do
mean, it's the same
think-
as Buzzball, but Buzzball's got that like that like ethanol aftertaste.
Right.
Whereas this has a weird winey aftertaste.
That, like,
whiny. We
bitter-
don't like whiny. That's what I hear.
the bitter
That's what I
taste
hear.
that you get from Buzzball, I do like the back of your throat, like alcohol burn. I don't think you get as much of that with
No.
this, which
It's
is
way
surprising
sweeter.
because when we started drinking these, we were like, these are the absolutely worst things ever. I think that might be because we were drinking Orange
okay,
Jubilee, which is
but-
about to not be good, maybe.
Here's where like I get confused because like you guys like soda, right? Or not really?
Yeah.
I only like one soda. A Coke I'll drink, but I don't
Okay.
drink anything but Dr. Pepper.
Then that makes sense. You're not like a sweet person, but like I'm like if you like sweet things,
I'm a
this
sweet
is
guy.
little-
Hook me up with a little more. Like, give me. I'll drink it. You know. All
This
right.
is our producer you're talking about. You don't skimp on his drink.
You're right. You're right.
No, but like it is a little too sweet. Oh, can I have mine, sir?
I'm like, no.
This just smells like toxic poison.
No, dude.
No,
This
it's
is the
wine.
Buzzball.
This is wine.
Okay, when
that's
you say-
why I was like, I was like, I've never had one
Moscato?
before, but I know that they're not that bad.
It does taste a little whiny, I will say. Now
Yeah,
that I'm
you ever
drinking
had
it.
like Boone's Farm?
I don't know. I'm not that poor.
No. I mean, true. It is a very redneck
Okay,
thing. But
privileged.
that one is actually just wine, but they have Strawberry Hill as like the flavor, and it's really, really
Austin's out. All right, let's do
Really
this.
good.
Expired orange juice. Expired orange juice. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what I think.
up front. It's fine, and then it just turns on you, right?
Have
Kinda
you drank
tastes-
expired orange juice?
No. You know what this
a
tastes
little
like?
whiny. It's a little whiny.
It's a little whiny on.
So
I will say,
Our
to,
fans are gonna love hearing that.
to me, this is reading Gusher or like fruit
Okay.
snack.
No,
Okay.
it is very sweet. Very
Yeah.
sweet. And I don't. Yeah, I'm
I almost feel like if you use this as an ingredient in a cocktail, it would be good.
See, I could see
better
that.
than last week
Little sparkling something.
or episode.
You hated that one.
Well, half
so
Buzzball,
awful.
half Mad Dog.
Ooh.
That's
Well, let's do that for dude. Our 10th episode. We should do like a 10th
episode?
That might,
like our 10th. No, like our
That's
10th.
like not even a milestone.
I know. Well,
That's a big
That's a
deal.
big deal for us.
10 episodes.
But
a lot.
I would say that that literally may become acidic if you would put Buzzball in Matt. It may like burn through the cup.
It might kill you.
That's a chemistry experiment.
Yeah.
Not sure I'm
Like
willing to
chemistry
find
class.
out.
Right.
No, I'm good.
So
What do you think? What do you think that plus a monster plus Adderall
Hold on,
in
hold
my
on.
stomach is gonna do? Because I feel like I might explode.
You might get really like filled up. You ever seen Big Trouble in Little China?
Yes. Of
Where
course.
the guy gets really big and he blows up and he explodes?
The Chinese guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a lot of this.
we're just basically drinking a bottle of wine with the
Hold
boys.
on. No.
Sure.
We're doing.
The
Oh,
mixture
a little
sounds
mix. A
good.
little mix. So you mixed it.
We started mixing, and now we're doing slime balls. Oh, it's green. All right.
I'm not gonna mix it. That's psychopathic.
dude. You know what
You
this
know
is?
it's bad when he
You
thinks
know
that's
what it is?
psychopathic. What?
It's toothpaste.
I think I understand what you're
No,
saying.
it's not the mint. It's like this. It's the alcohol. Basically, is what's giving that. Like it fills your
Little s-
mouth.
Yeah, a little.
Like you
I
ever
don't
had
know
like
what that feeling is. Like a cold feeling.
yeah, it's cold without being actually cold.
Wait, did you say that feeling that fills your mouth?
Ever heard of it?
pause? The Shaq pause. That's my
Okay,
favorite.
well, rating, Quentin.
2.5.
Wow, that's pretty high.
It's right in the middle.
Wow.
Because if somebody brought it to a party and was like, everyone like gave everybody one as a joke, it's only 13%. So it's like, all right, it's like drinking.
Why are you
2
inviting homeless
IPAs.
people to your party?
No, I'm inviting Gavin.
What's the
I literally think he's brought that before.
Oh, he would drink that
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, 2.5.
Nicholas.
It's better than Buzzball, and I think I probably gave Buzzball like a 2.5. I'd say this is actually drinkable as a pregame. 3.5.
Okay. That's
Better
right.
than, and it's better than Bud Light, to be clear.
No way in hell.
Can I just
But-
emphasize
And that's how
the
my ranking will hold up.
Okay.
I just want to give a shout out for no reason to Choco Chiller. If you're listening, I love you. This is like
We
a
ain't never
2.
had it as good when we had it with Choco
Chiller. Oh, the best I haven't had. No, this is like a 2. It's fine.
Need some of this water.
I know every 3 weeks, like I do like a detox. I'm like, okay, this is Nick's episode. Like we're gonna have some really disgusting
I had to come
poison.
prepared.
I do think I'm going to go in with something nice and beautiful.
No. You have to go harder.
I could do that.
You got to go harder,
But
brother.
I think Malort is too obvious, so we're going
a
to
little
stick
too
away
obvious.
from that.
I still haven't
And
had it. I'm waiting.
I've had Malort,
Actually-
and it's bad, but it's bad in a way I can drink.
Let's get into some lore core. Roll it. The Last of Us Part 1 is a post-apocalyptic action-adventure game that follows Joel, a hardened survivor, and Ellie, a 14-year-old girl who may hold the key to saving humanity. The world has been ravaged by a fungal infection caused by the cordyceps brain infection, which turns people into aggressive, zombie-like creatures. The game is set 20 years after the outbreak in a broken-down America ruled by the quarantine zones, scavengers, and violent factions. After a tragic loss at the beginning of the outbreak, Joel becomes emotionally closed off. He is tasked with escorting Ellie across the country to the Fireflies, a resistance group searching for a cure. Over the course of a year-long journey, they travel through dangerous cities and wilderness, face deadly infected and hostile humans, and build a powerful bond that challenges Joel's emotional armor. The story is divided into 4 seasons, each representing different chapters in the journey. It explores themes of loss, survival, love, morality, and what it means to do the right thing in a hopeless world.
Developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony, Last of Us Part 1 was released June 14th, 2013 to a massive critical acclaim. Naughty Dog, coming off the heels of their blockbuster sequel to one of their flagship IPs, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, subsequently split its efforts into 2 teams, one starting the development of the 3rd Uncharted game, while the other team, helmed by game director Bruce Staley, known for his art direction on games like Gex, Crash Team Racing, and Jak and Daxter, along with creative director and lead writer Neil Druckmann, also worked on Jak and Daxter as well as all of the Uncharted games, were set to work on a brand new IP from Naughty Dog. The brainchild of Neil Druckmann in college, trying to create a love child between the gameplay of Ico set in the setting of Dawn of the Dead. From there, the rest is history.
The game won over 200 Game of the Year awards, making it one of the most awarded games of all time and known as one of the greatest. It stars Troy Baker as Joel and Ashley Johnson as Ellie. They gave a motion capture and voice performance, contributing significantly to the emotional weight of the story. The game inspired the critically acclaimed HBO series The Last of Us in 2023, starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Let's get to our main quest. Roll it. We have not talked a second about this game. I want to clarify. I don't know if you've played it. I don't know what you think about, like, I don't know anything. And that's exactly how I wanted this. So I'm literally like oozing to know what you think. Because for me, this, I've said it before, I'm going to get really mad because I will say today I did the thing I shouldn't do, which I went on a deep dive on YouTube about the haters of Neil Druckmann and specifically Last of Us 2, like all these YouTubers that are getting upset. And the reason I bring that up is because I am just so passionate about The Last of Us 1 because I am a movie guy. Like, I love film. And this is what a game should be. It feels to me like a well-written story. I can watch it like a movie, but the gameplay is incredible.
It's a video game.
It is a video game.
You play with a controller. No, I'm kidding. It's a video game that literally feels like a movie.
Yeah.
But not in the way that it's like, oh, this just felt like a movie. Like I was just watching something happen. You can do so much in this game. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say there's really decision making. It's pretty linear.
That's actually one of the complaints, specifically in 2, is like, oh, they wish that there would be more decision making. But I think there's a message to this game, which I want to get to. But
we will definitely get to. But I think for sure myself, I didn't really notice that or really care.
Yeah.
Because the game's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's written so perfectly. The gameplay is crisp. Naughty Dog knows how to make a UI, a control scheme, and everything. They nailed it. And I just think as a video game, it's so sound that even though it is a bit on rails, there's so much room to play.
Yeah.
When you're in a mission, when you're walking through a hotel that's burning to the ground halfway and falling down elevator shafts, and there's so much to explore on this very kind of feels almost enclosed and like claustrophobic area. It's so perfectly like toes the line between those two things. I don't know, dude. Every area I was in felt different from the last and felt genuinely like so fleshed out and thought about. Like so much thought went into every inch of this game.
Yeah, and the remaster specifically, I'm very impressed with the remaster.
That's all I know.
The graphics. I mean, dude, shooting a zombie, like
it's really intense.
It's intense.
It's really intense.
And I think I want to talk about something very specifically. I think the theme of Last of Us is the harm that violence has, like the actual that violence begets violence. There will only cause more of a cycle. I really think that's the theme that Neil Druckmann is trying to get across. It's way more emphasized in Last of Us 2, which we will talk about at some point. But let's get into this. Let's get into the beginning. So, and I want to I'm going to ask you
the first thing I wrote down. I said, the man, that beginning is rough.
Yeah. So you start prologue. It's 20 years before, and you play as Sarah during the outbreak. Chaos erupts, and Joel's daughter is tragically killed. The story then jumps 20 years forward, and Joel is now a hardened smuggler in a quarantine zone.
To be fair, real quick, before we start, that was the only spoiler I had ever had with that game.
Was that Joel's daughter died.
And you play as her in the first part, and she dies within like the first 5 to 10 minutes. So that's all I ever heard, was that the beginning of the game is so horribly sad, and the rest of the game is a bummer too. And I was always like, wow, sounds like a sad game.
And we're going to do this again. That's a little spoiler. It's literally in the beginning. But this is a full spoiler game. This is a game that you want to play. If you're not into video games, listen, hopefully you can watch the story or something. But I know several people that have not physically played the game, but because they're interested in the story, they've watched a YouTuber play.
Yeah, gameplays.
If you want to do that, do that. But this is a critical story to learn in like civilization. I'm serious. Like, I think every child should be like, once you're 18, you have to play The Last of Us.
I think so too, because it has so many little lessons throughout I think that's kind of the point of it.
Of course.
That's like what it's trying to kind of push across, which is so funny because from what I know, like Uncharted is basically a Mission Impossible movie, like almost.
There's no real message. It's
Indiana Jones.
You're Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's my issue with Uncharted.
AK-47.
Yeah. And I love the Uncharted games. Don't get me wrong. But like, if you like the jump from Uncharted to Last of Us, I think is like, whoa. Cause we're talking about, I think 2 is the greatest story video game ever.
2?
Like in 2, in terms of story, I think it's the greatest ever written.
Is it longer?
It is much longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's so hard to not talk about 2, but we can't.
I know.
So prologue playing as Sarah, what did you think? I mean, it's kind of an interesting.
So I actually love how they do this. The very first 5 minutes of the game, you're a little girl walking through a house alone. Mm-hmm. It's kind of spooky.
It's very spooky.
And you're kind of walking around and you're like, whoa, this is kind of weird. But you're also like, I don't really know if it's even started. If this is a flashback, I don't even know what's going on. And then you're almost kind of, and it kind of drags on for like 5, and you're like watching the TV, and then it's kind of,
you can really explore. You can be like really explore the house.
Walk around the whole house if you want.
Yep.
Which, doesn't really tell you exactly where to go. So if you don't really know where to go, I don't think there's like a, compass or anything in that mission, but it's the first part of the game. And you're like, where's Joel? Where's the people I hear about? And then within 5 minutes, a pretty intense cutscene.
Mm-hmm. Of the neighbor attacking Joel, and it
as a zombie. It throws you directly into the fire from that point on. Literally, everything starts catching on fire. Basically, that barn burning.
Ugh,
dude.
And I love how
my graphics were low.
Yeah,
but it was still most beautiful. It was like, this is the most on low settings. That game still looks
amazing,
insane.
I love how the show does it because it gives more context of like, she goes over and she talks with the neighbor, she makes cookies and like that whole thing. I gives more context. So I do appreciate that a lot.
It fleshes out the show really takes every scene from the game and just stretches
and really does them better. That's the one thing. So we did
get more context.
For everybody listening, we actually watched the show, and we played the first season, and we played the game just to kind of talk about it. I gotta say, watching it and playing it, I was only impressed with the show because I think making a show off a video game is so hard. I think if you're gonna do it, it's gonna be Last of Us because the story is just that amazing. I'm really impressed with the show. My one complaint is like, I don't love Bella Ramsey as Ellie.
Are we gonna get into this? Do you want to get into this right now?
That's true.
We can. I mean, why not?
You know what? We're here.
We're already here. Okay. Here's my take. Because I don't think I've ever talked to you about this.
Right.
And then I want to hear yours right after.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think I agree with the people saying she's doing a good job. Because I do think after now playing the game, she acts Ellie good.
Yes.
She does a great job. Yeah. But how are you going to nail Marlene and Joel and Bill? All like, dude, they
Bill.
all look so
Marlene,
similar to the character. And then you're going to cast Bella Ramsey, who looks nothing like Ellie.
this is like a whole conversation, which we can get into.
Yeah.
First of all, Ashley Johnson as Ellie is top 5 greatest voice acting ever.
She looks just like Ellie.
She does look a lot like her. She's on Critical Role, by the way. Ashley Johnson's like the GOAT. She's amazing. She's like a big D&D player.
Yeah.
I love her as a voice actress.
She's
and I
awesome.
think her as Ellie, and you have the scene obviously in season 1 where she gives birth. That's Ashley Johnson. Ellie's mom is
really?
That's Ashley Johnson.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad they put her in the show.
And it's nice because they talk about it's like kind of symbolic because it's like Ellie's her child. So Ashley Johnson's the mom, and it was. Okay,
real quick, if we're going to talk about Ashley Johnson, we have to talk about Troy Baker.
Amazing.
I mean, he is him and Nolan North are like the goats of video game VO.
Troy Baker, man. What else did Nolan North do? Let me see.
Nolan North is oh God, you're putting me on the spot.
Keep talking about
well, Troy Baker. Okay, by the way, Troy Baker does an incredible Harrison Ford impression in the new Indiana Jones game, to the point to where I thought it was AI Harrison Ford for the first mission. Crazy. And then I looked it up, and it was like Troy Baker. I think he like even called up Harrison Ford a few times. But okay, actually, stop. Nolan North does Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay,
and he actually like did the whole motion.
Yeah, he did all
thing.
the mocap for that.
I think Troy Baker, dude, and he's in
everything.
I mean, he literally did Joker after Mark Hamill, which I think, like, if somebody was like, "Hey, do Joker after Mark Hamill," I'd be like, "Never,
no, never,
and never." He does a good Joker.
That's
it's not my
Origins,
favorite, but
right?
it's pretty good.
That's in Batman Origins.
Yes, it's the only one I don't like is Origins.
I've never played it.
Nolan North did Nathan Drake, Desmond Miles in Assassin's Creed,
Thank
Edward,
you. It's Assassin's
Rick
Creed.
to Finn in Call of Duty Zombies. Ghost, he's Penguin, Deadpool. Deadpool's the big one. Deadpool's a really big one for Nolan North.
Because there are a bunch of those Deadpool games, by the way.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of them.
Oh, but dude, Booker DeWitt, Joel Miller.
He's Booker. Oh,
He's
that's
Booker,
what it
bro.
was.
He's
I couldn't
Booker.
remember. He's Booker DeWitt. And Booker DeWitt's one of my...
So good.
I mean, the Bioshock 1 and 2, you're a silent protagonist, so it doesn't really matter. But Booker DeWitt having a voice, I loved, and it was amazing.
Okay, let's get back to the game, though. Chapter 1, so obviously you play as Sarah, then you get to the quarantine zone. Joel and Tess go after a man who stole their weapons and end up meeting Marlene, leader of the Fireflies. She offers to return the weapons if they smuggle a girl, Ellie, out of the city. Thoughts on Tess? Both show and movie. Show and game.
I, again, thought they nailed it on the casting. And
Incredible casting.
Even looks-wise.
Who is she? Hold on, you keep talking because where is she from? Because I don't know her.
I've seen her. I have seen her face, but
she was amazing.
She's a TV actress.
I like the show Tess better than the game Tess.
The game Tess is, I don't know, try hard, tough girl. I don't know. Which I liked Marlene way more as a character.
Which Tess is.
And you don't really see her that much, but.
The actress who plays Marlene is the voice actress for Marlene.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's the same person.
Awesome.
So
that's why. Okay,
it
I was going to
exactly
say, wow, they got again. I was like, they nailed the casting. Well, it's because why couldn't they do that with everybody?
Yeah, I think she kills it as Tess. It's interesting because Joel and Tess have this kind of. The message I get is that Tess is in love with Joel, and Joel doesn't reciprocate the feelings.
That's so interesting. I did not catch up on that.
Yeah, because towards the end, she's kind of like, I even had feelings for. I mean, I think they like definitely slept together, but like,
what else are you gonna do?
I think Joel is just Joel has lost so much with Sarah, where like he doesn't want any family, And I
No.
think that's why the beginning is so important.
Well, remember Ellie tries to, or is it Marlene? Somebody tries to give him the picture of him and Sarah.
Says
and he's
no.
like,
Yep.
I don't want it.
Nope, I'm not taking it.
And it's like, at
That's
that
Tommy.
point, I realized I was like, oh, Joel is instinct survival only at this point.
And he's like a very broken man. And that's
Shattered.
why the beginning is so important. It's like, this is why. And this is why Joel and Ellie's journey is so interesting. And like, that's why he makes the choice that he does, which we'll get to.
Dude.
So Joel, Tess, and Ellie make their way through a ruined museum and Capitol building. Tess is bitten and sacrifices herself so Joel and Ellie can escape. This is the part in the show specifically I love when they're in the museum. And Ellie actually gets in the show. She actually gets bit again, but they already knew that she's immune. So
Wait, she gets bit again in the show?
in the show, she gets bit and she kind of shows them and they're just kind of like, oh, shoot. Yeah. Yeah. She's like, and they're like, okay, well, you're immune.
I did not remember that in the show.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So I love that part in this show. But this is also when I believe you first meet the clickers. Bro, what did you think of those?
Okay, so real other disclaimer that I don't think I hit on yet. I did watch episode 1 through 4 of this show before I ever played the game.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's right. That's right.
So I
you knew the
technically
clickers.
saw like what clickers were.
Right.
I've seen plenty of gameplay of Last of Us. I want to
Sure.
make that also clear. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea what this game is. So I do know, but dealing with them there's a slight learning curve. I mean, it's the classic don't make noise.
Right, exactly. Sneak
But-
around.
The game does an incredible job of putting environmental hazards in front of you that make a
lot of noise.
lot of noise.
Yep.
And make it really hard for you to be sneaky sometimes.
Yep.
We're skipping ahead, but the David boss fight, when you're crunching
Oh,
on the
yeah,
plates,
yeah.
if you're not
Oh, I
careful and
know.
he runs after
Yes.
you,
that was a tough one.
I, by the way, was playing all night, got to that point, and literally was like, I have to go to bed. I stopped in the middle of that boss fight. I died over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It was not fun. Did you play on a higher difficulty?
No, I
You
just played
normally
on normal.
I played on normal too, but I, for a second, was like, I'm getting my butt kicked a little bit.
It's hard. It is
Some
hard.
of the shooting, like precision shooting in
yeah.
that game, it's not.
It ain't
what it's meant-
Rockstar. It ain't like Lock Right On.
Hey, this ain't Rockstar.
Yeah, this ain't Rockstar.
Don't ask me about it, but this ain't Rockstar.
Speaking of the environmental, I love, especially in the Left Behind DLC, like there's moments in the Left Behind DLC where you can like throw a bottle and the zombies attack the raiders who's the guy that you're just talking about? Who's that boss fight?
David?
David, like David's crew, you can throw a bottle
yes.
and like the zombies will kill David's crew.
Oh, no. Okay. I used the zombies to my advantage during that entire snow scene
same.
area, all of that.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, no, we're so skipping ahead.
I know,
so we
I
got to
know.
talk about it because that's
That's
the
all
whole
right.
David thing I just did. And
we got so much to talk about with this game. It's
I
just
know.
like it's so hard to not jump ahead. Okay, but
real quick, Tess, museum. I was going to say I have written down here because I did some notes, not a lot, but the museum mission was perfectly done.
yeah,
The way you progress through the level, the way how it throws, I think it throws a mix of FD. What's
it's a regular zombies and then it's also you have some clickers.
Well, I thought it threw military at you too at some point.
Yeah, I believe so.
It hits you with like all the different enemy types, and then it's just you're walking through this like old dilapidated museum in Boston,
Yep.
and it's just the layout's good. It's super spooky. You're using flashlights everywhere. There's clickers running around. It was your introduction, and it's like the first big mission you do.
And one of my favorite parts in the game is because you start with the zombies. It's like, okay, this is the threat. This is what's caused civilization to crumble. And you're sneaking around. Oh, the clickers, you got to stop and like stab them. And you got to, be quick with the zombies because they're running after you. And you're like, okay, this is the threat. Then you meet humans, and the humans are much, much more dangerous because they have weapons
And drive cars.
And also, they're not dumb. Like the zombies are stupid. And I think that's another message with this game is like, if there was a global catastrophe where civilization completely crumbled, it wouldn't be the thing that's the problem. Humans, we can't even govern ourselves when things are good. You think we're going to govern ourselves when things are terrible?
Really bad? Well, people will, and it will be through bloodshed and fear and murder. Literally,
Exactly.
that's how someone will rule over a group of people when there's no justice system. There's nothing to stop them from just taking control through violence. And that is what this basically from front to back, this game is showing that like you said, violence begots violence. And in this world, it shows how like it's really I mean, I know it sounds like intense. It's a super violent world.
It is a very violent world. No, it is. And you have to be violent to survive. These are monsters that are coming out to attack you.
So that's the other thing we want to also make clear for people who don't know. This is a cool kind of weird spin on zombies. It's technically a fungus, like a mushroom called cordyceps.
Yep.
That in the show they get into like where it came from a little bit. But
Neil Druckmann, who's the writer, he was inspired. He was watching a documentary and there was these mushrooms that were the cordyceps, and ants would eat them.
Yeah.
And the cordyceps would actually mind control them to get away from the cordyceps, or would bring them food, the things that would actually help the cordyceps grow. So that inspired him. He's like, oh, this could happen with humans. And
if a human ate that, what would happen?
I don't know.
But I'm saying he probably was asking that question.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it's like,
I think cordyceps is you can buy cordyceps mushrooms.
Yeah, there is an amount where it's like, okay, this is fiction, because it's like that couldn't actually happen, but it's like it kind of could if like certain things, if the cordyceps could evolve quick enough to do that to the brain. I believe it could. I'm totally speaking out of my butt, but it's something like that.
Funny enough, when I did a little Wikipedia deep dive, I saw one of the things was just like notes. I don't know if you ever go to the bottom of like and it just has, it's honestly they're like little random facts page. And one of them was I think it was like a Boston College doctorate student did a report on if it could be possible. And she was like, it's literally 1 in a billion.
Yeah.
But she's like, technically, no. It could. Like, it technically, theoretically could. But
right. Well, the cordyceps clearly have something weird with them. And like, if they started to have enough consciousness where they could like, hey, we want to start,
turning everyone into ants.
Maybe. Speaking of which, next chapter, well, obviously, Tess dies. What did you think of that?
She gets bit. I remember seeing that in the show. So I was like, I wonder how they do it up until Henry and Sam, which we'll get into. That's the last episode I saw, which is like the end of episode 3, episode 4 of the show. So I knew Tess died. I thought the way she went out in the game was a way less
cool.
Yeah, her blowing herself up in that place exploding. I was like, oh, that's going to be crazy. I'm going to have to be running out of an exploding building. No, I actually think I like The Last of Us game more. Because I also think
zombies.
That's when you're fighting the soldiers.
The soldiers, that's right. It's not the zombies.
And you have to shoot your way out of the back end of it with Ellie. And that, to me, I realized that they couldn't do what they did in the show, in the video game. Obviously, the show had to make that whole thing a lot faster because they're trying to tell a more detailed story.
Yeah. It's
whereas in a game, it's like, no, that's a mission now.
Yep.
You're
playing.
So the show definitely takes liberties there with certain stuff, and we'll get into that more. But I thought Tess dying was kind of cool. It was realistic, but I liked the show one more for theatrical value.
Yeah, I think in the game when I played it, I was kind of like, what's the point of Tess? And there's a little bit of me that's still there. It's like, why is she? And I think for the game, it's kind of like you always have a partner. You always have a companion, and you lose Tess and you get Ellie in the game.
I think that's kind of what it's trying to do. I also think it also illustrates like Joel losing another close person to him and just becoming more, because after Tess dies, he is just like
doesn't care.
Mission oriented.
Well, and
mission oriented,
and he does the Ellie mission because Tess asked. It's her dying wish. So dying wish asks to take Ellie. We meet Bill. We go to Bill's town, and Joel and Ellie travel to Bill's town to find a working car. Bill helps
suburbs mission is so fun. That's when the exploring really opens up.
Especially like you're on the hills, and it's like the house, and you're kind of like
you're crawling through.
There's like the little barn.
Yes. When you're crawling through stuff, when you're trying to get to the car, you get to Bill? Yeah, you get to Bill before Henry and Sam.
Yep.
But Bill also being such a
jerk,
a stick in the mud, but in a funny way.
This to me is the best the episode of Bill and Frank is one of the greatest episodes I've ever seen.
I watched it with my wife, and we sat there and literally had tears in our eyes.
Yeah, that episode is so incredible. And it's really interesting because, dude, when I first played this, I was like, I didn't even remember Bill because it's so quick. But then it's like, oh, you see Frank and he hung himself in the room.
Well, Ellie in the cutscene,
yes,
she pulls out a like gay fitness mag or whatever. Like it was like a like
gay porn,
whatever, something like that. And there's a very funny scene, which I don't think we can say, but where you're like, and then you even see Joel, which is like kind of my favorite part, where he's like, "Ooh, hey, put that back. Why'd you grab that?" Like he's kind of like, "Oh, geez," because I think he kind of has an idea who Frank is.
I always got that part. Like I knew Bill was gay, but with Frank, like, because I just thought he was and Bill has quotes where he's like, "Don't fall in love," like that's the worst thing I did.
Or he's like, "I used to have someone I cared about."
Yeah,
like, and you're like,
ooh. And then you find him in the house who hung himself. And then you watch the show and it's just like, oh, it's even more tragic. But Bill it's really cool in the show how they do it. He's set up like this giant bunker.
Yeah.
In the game, it's more like, no, he has just the whole place rigged and booby trapped. Yep. Is it booby trapped?
Yeah. He's like living in a basement.
Yeah. And he just like knows where to go. And like, that's really cool for gameplay, but for a story, it makes sense for the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I really do realize after playing the game, because I remember reading a bunch of articles how it's like the show is so different. They change whole things up and whatever. And you're like, oh, wow, well, the show must suck if you love the games. They couldn't make a show that's beat for beat the video game.
Those people are not smart. Like, how can you
or all they know is that they just played Last of Us once a long time ago when it came out, and they're watching the show and they're like, I don't remember that being.
That you can't. You can't do it. It's a game. You have to have gameplay. Which, speaking of, as strong as the narrative is, I think the gameplay is fantastic. I mean, the whole game, dude, I am stressing over ammo. This is a survival horror game.
Crazy how scarce stuff becomes.
So scarce.
And which I love. I love a good challenge in a video game.
Yep.
I don't like...
It's Resident Evil.
Oh, dude, it's exactly Resident Evil. It is almost identically Resident Evil in the way that ammo is king. There are good guns. There are bad guns. There are guns you'll never use. There are weapons. Although I think I used every weapon.
I think I pretty much did too.
The revolver I almost never touched.
My favorite was the shorty.
Dude, I was just going to say the shorty. And the weapon benches, giving your guns cosmetic upgrades along with the actual upgrade. That's the way into my heart. It's what BioShock does so well. When you get an upgrade and you see the upgrade pop up on the actual gun, like it's a thing that...
Well, you see him physically take it and work on it.
He has like tools you get, and he uses the tools like they're meant to be used.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Every avenue where it was like, well, they better nail it right here. Cause I had my skeptic cap on because I'm like, PlayStation games are not better than Xbox games. Yeah. And then I was like, nah, well, this is way better than anything besides like nostalgic reasons, you know.
I think story, it's PlayStation and specifically Neil Druckmann. I don't think I think it can be a company thing, but I really think it's specifically writers. And if you have a great writer who can push a narrative like this, like Neil Druckmann, and I know he has, he gets controversy, but I think the dude's a genius. I think he's an incredible writer.
I will say, I think most of the story you're saying from like PlayStation stuff is just Naughty Dog.
Well, we got God of War.
That is true. I will give you God of War.
I think of another one.
But like, I'm even like
Bloodborne.
But I can play Bloodborne on Xbox. I'm saying PlayStation exclusive games.
Bloodborne is a PlayStation exclusive.
You can't play Bloodborne on Xbox? I didn't know that.
It's a big deal because like people are like campaigning for PlayStation to give it up.
Why did Software do that?
That's why the Switch 2, the new game that's coming out, it's rumored it's a Bloodborne sequel, but they can't call it a Bloodborne sequel because PlayStation owns it.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so you get from Bill, and then after Bill, you head to Pittsburgh. Chapter 4. Joel and Ellie crash in Pittsburgh and fight off hostile hunters. They meet Henry and Sam, two brothers also trying to survive.
The hostile hunters, I remember seeing that in the show, and in the show, you're kind of like, oh, these are just like raiders. They make them way more evil and scary in the game.
Well, with the giant tank that's like coming after you.
That has like skeletons attached to the front of it, where you're like, how long have those been there? And you're like, oh, God. These dudes have been doing this for a while. And then you hear them talking, and they're called hunters, right?
I think they're called...
That's what they call them. That's what Ellie and Joel call them.
Yeah, they must be.
They're hunters. I could be wrong, but whatever. I didn't have that written down.
The evil dudes that are after you.
Evil dudes that are... I don't know if they're not cannibals.
No, they're not. That's later. Next, the suburbs. The group escapes through the sewers in a quiet neighborhood. Like I said, Sam is bitten and turns, forcing Henry to kill him, then taking his own life.
Oh, God. You really just glazed over it. And by the way, the one difference in the show is that Sam is deaf and he's not
Correct.
in the game. He's
Correct.
100%. He can hear.
He's a normal
he talks. He's just a normal kid.
I can promise you he's normal.
We 100% know he's not deaf. And that's a weird change they did.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. I wonder if it's just the actor. I don't know why I said that weird. The actor may have just been deaf. I don't know.
Well, the actor was deaf in the show, but I way appreciate how they did it in the show because it's the reason they've survived. They're able to communicate totally with signs, and then also in the show.
Oh, that's right. They make it very like he was not going to make a noise.
Well, and they create this whole narrative where essentially why Henry is running away is because he killed the leader of this Raiders group, her brother, and he did it to get medicine for Sam because he had, I believe it was cancer. And I love that narrative so much. I think in the game, it was more just to have a reflection. Actually, I know this is why. It was to reflect Joel and Ellie. Like, okay, this is Joel and Ellie, and we have Henry and Sam. And when Sam gets bitten and you have the whole zombie place.
Dude.
And
which, by the way, he gets bitten in another big change, which is the bad guy in the show is that girl. What's her name? Catherine or
whatever her name
Meredith
is.
or something?
Yeah.
She's not in the game at all.
No. Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't love her as that much of a character.
I could literally care less with her. I appreciate what they did to give it more context.
Instead of the very nerve-wracking sniper mission in the game.
Yes. Oh, that is such a good.
It's an at-night giant shootout with hordes of zombies and like SWAT dudes where there's like a car on fire. Like it's a completely different scene.
I love that mission.
Show.
That mission is so good where you're hiding behind the cars and like.
And then you go up into where the sniper guy was because you remember you have to infiltrate that big house at the end with the sniper at the top. Then you take his position and you're shooting off because you got to get Sam, Henry, and Ellie up to you.
The Raiders that are attacking and then zombies come.
And then that's when
Sam gets attacked. And I love so much how they do it in this show. This is probably my favorite thing that is different in the show than in the game. When in the show, Ellie finds out that Sam is bitten, she cuts her arm and she pours her blood on Sam because she's like, I'm immune. And that is so sad to me because Ellie at this point, I think you really see her personality change after that because she's like, oh, I'm a superhero. She's on top of the world. And she thinks that she can cure Sam. Turns out she can't.
No, that's how it
and
works.
Wake up in the morning and Sam attacks Ellie. And you see Henry right away grab the gun. Joel's like trying to stop the situation and Henry just doesn't know what to do. Shoots his little brother who just turned into a zombie and then shoots himself.
It's one of the most harrowing things because you just had you're talking to Henry about riding a chopper and like riding bikes and stuff. And then the whole Sam and Ellie thing, like before they go to bed where they're like bonding and becoming really close friends. Meanwhile, this entire time Sam's bit. He knows he got bit. Obviously he's been bit, but he didn't say anything because I think he's just a little kid. He's scared.
Yeah.
And it's so terrible, but you are like, yeah, I mean, what that's,
well, and I
mean, it kind of to Ellie, you're like, this is the world we live in.
That's one of the complaints of the Last of Us games is like, it's too dark. It's too heavy, especially too. And this is one where it's very dark. It's very heavy. This is a dark and twisted world. I think this was so important to the story because in a way, Joel and Ellie reflect Henry and Sam and they're like, wow, we just lost these friends and I could lose Ellie. And Ellie's like, I could lose Joel. And I think that's when like their relationship, they start to become really like codependent on each other.
100%.
Chapter 6, Tommy's Dam. Joel reunites with his brother Tommy in Wyoming. He tries to hand Ellie off, but she runs off. And after a heartfelt talk, Joel decides to continue the journey with her. So we meet Joel, we meet Tommy.
Yeah, you get to the dam. Dam's cool mission. It's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. I love the show because it's like their place is like so sick. It's like this giant.
Well, you don't even get to see the town in the game.
Not at all. No,
you see it from like a hilltop.
Right, and that's what I love in this show. But this part is kind of like Joel's done his job. Like it's time to pass it on. And this dude who used to be a Firefly, he'll take Ellie and Ellie won't have it. She's like, no, I'm only going with Joel. Yeah.
In the game, she runs away on a horse and you and Tommy, remember, have to go after her.
Yes.
And she's like, I can't remember where does she end up?
She just runs on her horse. I can't remember either, but you catch up and it's like,
Well, you get to like a little hideout from a bunch of bandits that are like holed up.
yep.
And you see her tracks go to there. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, shoot. So you get in a shootout with these guys. And you're like, she's not here. Got to keep going.
Yeah.
It's a fun little mission. But the entire time you are like, where the hell is she? You feel
Yeah.
like Joel. You're like, what the hell?
Well, and after that, we have the most famous cutscene of the game, which is Joel and Ellie's heartfelt conversation where Ellie basically brings up Sarah and Joel's like, don't ever bring up Sarah. You don't know what loss is. And Ellie's like, I've literally lost everyone.
Oh, she's in a top bedroom of
She's
a
in the
house.
bedroom.
Yeah.
That is the most famous cutscene in Last of Us, for sure.
Yeah.
And in the show, they do it exactly
Yep,
line by
perfect.
line. It's a perfect because they were like, why would we change this?
There's nothing to change about it.
There's nothing to change
that you
about
need to change because it's so, God, Naughty Dog knows how to build story and character design and all of it.
And make a cutscene.
It's why it's like the most cinematic game. It's why it's like you're playing a movie,
Yep.
but you get to do whatever you want. You can go all hand-to-hand combat. You can build bombs and throw them at hordes of zombies, or you can sneak around and just. There's so many different ways to do a mission.
Yeah.
That it might not be open world and it may not matter what way you do, but you could do whatever you want.
You can avoid violence altogether. You
Yes.
can just avoid the
Sneak
zombies completely. So Joel decides to go with Ellie. They have this heartfelt talk, and Joel's like, you know what? I do have this weird connection with this girl. I'm going to go. They go to the university. Joel and Ellie look for the Fireflies, which the Fireflies, for those who don't know, are essentially this anarchist group that is against
Guerrilla, outfit.
But they are good. They're trying to stop because at this point, just like the military has essentially completely taken over.
They're as good as they're not raiders, they're not military, they're somewhere in between.
Yeah, they do want to create a new society essentially. And Marlene is part of the Fireflies, and the whole thing is like, hey, Ellie is immune. She might be able to be saved, or she might be able to save humanity.
Everyone. Yeah.
So go to the university.
The university missions are good because a lot happens. But I felt like for some reason for me, it's like the most forgettable area.
It's definitely forgettable, except for one. There's one part where Ellie is looking on the wall and there's a sports team there, and she's like, "Did you guys really like?"
Oh wait, she's like, "This like you guys worshipped like idols," and he's like,
when it
I guess kind of.
when it came to football,
Yeah, when it came to football.
And I really did think like, man, the idea that like Ellie
That's
can't even
so
comprehend.
Neil
Like,
Druckmann.
well, it's like you get to just relax and watch people play a game.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's insane,
crazy.
Like she can't even comprehend
No.
something like that.
Because she sees football being played. That's what it is. She sees like people like lined up, I think, doesn't she?
Well, no. She just sees the logo that's painted on the bricks, and
it's the goat.
yes, it's the goat.
Yeah.
It's the goat.
The bighorns or whatever.
Yeah, she's constantly making comments about how we flew planes, went to the mall, had jobs, drove cars, went to college, even sports. And Joel says, when it came to sports, hell yeah. And it's just so weird
Joel.
because like they're living in an actual hell, and yet we get to live in luxury
I
and we're
know,
still
yeah.
upset. Went to the university, escaped the Raiders, but obviously Joel gets hurt. And
He falls on some rebar. Classic move.
falls on some rebar.
Not the best
No.
thing for Joel.
Chapter 8, Lakeside Resort. You then play as Ellie. So Joel is like bleeding out. He plays Ellie. This is such an awesome moment in the game because the whole time you're playing Joel, and when you get to play Ellie, it feels different.
It does feel like a different character. Completely.
You feel a little quicker. You feel a little bit more agile, but at the same time, not as skill. Like your weapon is like
you have like a bow and arrow and one pistol.
yeah. And so you're playing as Ellie, caring for an unconscious Joel, and she's captured by David.
Dude, I thought for the moment I saw him, I was like, this guy's bad news.
your sketch.
He's the sketchiest looking guy. He's not that sketchy in the show looking.
Man, is he good in the show? I thought the
amazing.
casting in the show is incredible.
I agree. And okay, I'll give him this. It looks nothing like him in the game, which is fine.
True.
So-
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But then you nail it on other ones for no reason.
That's true. That is true. I mean, it matters a little bit, but like I care more like, are you a good actor? Like, can you play
I agree,
the character? She's captured by David. Oh, by the way, the David's assistant is Troy Baker in the show. The guy who's like has like the blonde hair and he's like, go get the medicine for
that's
Ellie.
his-
That's Troy Baker.
Oh, that's
he plays.
I love it. He plays a lot of voices. To be fair.
So, captured by David, Ellie escapes and kills him in a brutal showdown. Joel recovers and finds her.
Hold on, dude. When you become Joel again,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like seething because he doesn't know where Ellie is, and he's like hurting, and he's running around, and you can tell like when you go through any doors, he's like closing them really fast, and
Yep.
it's the most frantic you really see Joel, because he's like, I have no idea where Ellie is, and I know that this is not good, because he sees guys with guns everywhere.
And he's bleeding. He's fighting,
And
like,
he's
I'm also in
almost dead.
pain. And there's a snowstorm coming in.
Oh, and that whole mission with the snow, I thought it was so cool.
And man, David is just he's another just real twisted character, because you find out that he is definitely interested in younger girls in this
And
game.
they're all cannibals.
And he's a cannibal. How can you get worse? He's like, what's worse than a pedophile? Well, a cannibal
Someone
pedophile.
who eats people.
Yeah. And
caramba.
in the show, this is not in the game, but in the show, he says that he was a teacher. Which I was like,
Oh, I did not remember that
Yikes.
line.
You know what? I
caramba.
take that back. I'm so sorry. I get him so mixed up. I love the game one more than the show. The show one's good, but I like the game one because he has like the longer hair.
He looks like a gaunt Johnny Depp.
He's
He's got that kind of creepy voice like this.
Yes.
It's so good.
yes. So we talked a little bit already about the brutal showdown.
Yeah, the boss
sneaking
fight,
around
yeah.
with the glass. Joel recovers and finds her. This is when he grabs her and calls her baby girl.
Yes.
Which, listen, if Joel called me baby girl, if Joel
I
called
wouldn't be here right now.
if Joel called me a 28-year-old grown man, I'd be like daddy. Like I literally would be daddy.
Yeah, not
I'd
even
curl up in his big old
not
arms.
even sexually. I'm talking paternally. I want
I'm
him to be
call-
my father
All aspects. I just want to be taken care of by
across
Joel.
the board.
Bro, the scene where, backing up a little bit, the scene where Joel's looking for Ellie and he's like, where is she? And he grabs the knife and stabs it into his knee. Dude, that is the moment. One theme, I kept writing this in my notes. I wanted to talk about it. One theme I kept putting down is Joel is a bad guy.
Yeah, no, he's
You
not
are
the
playing
best.
a bad guy.
It's the Arthur Morgan effect where you're like, what are you talking about? Joel's great. And you're like, tell me one good thing he did besides escort Ellie.
But even-
especially at the very end.
We'll talk about that. But even Arthur Morgan, like Joel, when we see him with Ellie and he's in like good dad mode. He's like, oh, I'm being nice. But when he's alone, he's like, I'll kill anybody. I don't care.
It doesn't, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to
Yeah.
wherever they are, and you're in my way. You're either going to give me information or you're dead. Or you're going to do both.
And that's how he survived.
Yep.
He's had to be that brutal to survive.
It's a brutal, violent world.
Yep. Chapter 9, Joel and Ellie reach Salt Lake City. Joel becomes more fatherly. This is when Ellie's kind of distant
Yep.
from him, and they find the hospital.
That whole sewer mission.
Yeah, that was kind of quick. And then the draft, but you do see the draft. That's another big one. That almost got cut from the game, actually, is when Ellie is like petting the draft and then Joel comes
Oh,
up.
I loved that, by the way.
Yeah, they almost cut that.
That's so weird. That was like one of the, because at that point in the game, I'm kind of like, all right, when are we getting, is like, I didn't feel like it was dragging on, but I was like, it's got to be getting to the end here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it ramped it back up for me, that that cutscene.
Well, and it kind of like, you go to the sewer and it's kind of like, boom, she's unconscious from nearly drowning.
Oh, yeah.
In the game, they find you and they just kind of like knock you out.
Oh, no,
I had a
you
burp.
mean in the show?
I'm sorry, in the show, they just kind of find you and knock you out.
Yeah.
In the game, Ellie
You
almost
get,
drowns.
You get sucked under a
Yes. Chapter
big tidal wave, basically.
Chapter 10, the Firefly Lab. What happens? The Fireflies capture Joel and Ellie. Marlene reveals Ellie must die to make a vaccine
Apparently, the part they need for the vaccine is like,
in the brain.
it's in her brain.
Because it's they're like, we need to track the cordyceps and replicate it so that everybody can have this cordyceps that Ellie has. And so basically the cordyceps think you're already infected.
Yes, they won't infect you.
In the show, we get great context on why Ellie is immune. It's because her mom was bitten while she was literally giving pregnant to Ellie. So that's why she's able to be immune. But they say that with the cordyceps, because it's in the brain, they're like, this is brain surgery. We have to literally open
we
up
have
your
to
head.
take her brain apart.
So they're like, we have to kill her. And what did you think when they said that?
I saw it coming a little bit. I was like, there's no way this ends happily. There's no way.
Right.
So I was like, all right, it's going to end weird at some point. So let's just see where this goes. I'm sure Ellie's not dying. I know Last of Us 2 exists, so
Right. That's the thing. Is like
I know, I have a little bit of that. It's hard not to think that way. Obviously, I can't just suspend disbelief that hard.
Right.
To be like, I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I was like, how's she going to get out of it?
Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader.
That's Luke's dad.
Spoiler alert.
By the way, just making sure everybody knows.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think for me, Joel, it's. Let's get to it now. Joel refuses and kills every
human being in the entire place.
Everyone to save her. And when I say everyone, I mean literally to Marlene, to the surgeon, to the nurses that
when you break into that surgery room.
And he's like, get away from her. And he's literally, no hesitation.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dude, he does not.
Oh, no.
And I appreciate.
He lost Sarah once. He's not losing another one.
He's not losing Sarah again. I appreciate that because one of my big pet peeves in stories is like when the good guy kills everybody and then you get to the main bad guy and it's like, I can't do it. It's like, you just killed all these innocent people to get to this.
And I think even Joel thinks that because he hesitates with Marlene.
I don't think he really does though.
But he at least says something to her where he's like, because he gives her a reason why he's killing her. He's like, you're going to come after her.
Yep. And then boom. The big question. Should Joel have saved Ellie or not?
I have another big question after that for this. I think if I'm Joel, I don't regret a thing.
Wow.
If I'm as a player, I am like, pretty selfish move, buddy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is it's like and there's some audio tapes you can pick up where you realize that like, oh shoot, they really did like kind of find a cure within her blood.
Ellie. Yeah.
And you're like, oh shoot.
No, well, and that's the other question is, would it actually work? Would the fireflies?
That's where I'm like, maybe I think in Joel's head, he's kind of like,
it is a toss up. It's brain surgery, bro. It's literally brain surgery.
Who knows if they even get enough or whatever. So
we're going to sacrifice this little girl to save humanity. My opinion has always been he did the wrong thing.
I think as my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, he did the wrong thing. And I think that's one of the points of the game is that how far will you go for the ones you love? Yeah. Are you willing to literally sacrifice humanity to save one person?
Do you think, this is my big question to you.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Joel should have doubled down on the lie when she asked him, are you telling the truth about the fireflies when they're about to walk into Tommy's when the game literally ends, goes to credits?
Yeah.
Like she goes, I have to ask you something. And he's like, anything. What do you want?
So let's get to that because you obviously, you save Ellie and then you get to Jackson. You're going back to where Tommy is. You're going to go to a settlement.
You lie to her and say there's a bunch of you and it didn't work out. They've been trying this a bunch. So I saved you from them, basically.
Totally. Yeah. And he's like, oh, and you'll never see them again.
Yeah. Don't worry about them.
Don't worry about ever talking about Marlene again. On their way back to Tommy's settlement, Ellie asked Joel to swear he told the truth about the fireflies. He lies and she silently accepts it.
Of course. Or no, he goes like, yes.
No, he says yes.
Yeah.
And then Ellie goes, okay.
Yeah.
I know she knows that he's lying.
Oh,
she knows.
He doesn't maybe know what he's lying about, but he knows that like, yeah, something's not right here.
So I think, of course, morally, it's no question that you can't lie. You did this thing, like you got to own up to, I don't know how you own up to that personally. Like, it's just, okay, if I decided to kill all those people and then I lied about it, yeah, I guess I got to double down and figure out how to live with that lie. I mean, oh my God.
I really think, well, here's the thing with Joel is he's like, well, I think all the lives I've taken probably overcome the lie I told to Ellie because she's alive still. I saved her life.
I saved her life.
I've killed countless of people to do it already. Might as well kill the people that were, they were going to kill her, maybe for a good cause, probably a great cause.
Yep. And Neil Druckmann says this in the show. He says, like, Joel hates humanity. Why would I ever save humanity? I don't care about people. This is the one person I've cared about since Sarah. You think I'm going to like save people?
Do that again? Humans were the one who killed Sarah.
I've killed countless of you humans. Like, yes. Yeah, I mean, and that's where I really think the people just loving Joel and obsessing over him, which is fine. I love Joel too. I think he's an amazing video game character, but he is a morally terrible person.
That's what I was saying. It's the Arthur Morgan effect.
Yeah.
Where you are
Arthur Morgan's
in love.
He's still a little bit better.
It's
been a while since I
murdered in
played.
cold blood hundreds and hundreds of people. More than almost Joel did.
For
At least
Dutch.
For a good cause.
Well, and that's where it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the big question.
Like, what is the cause?
And that is why this is one of my favorite games ever.
All right, we got to do it. We got to get it. We got to rip the Band-Aid off. Let's get this done. Not even a Band-Aid. A good Band-Aid. It's a healed wound.
Yeah.
Because I shat on this game when I was younger because I was like, PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Who wants to buy a PlayStation? And now I've played it, and I think this has creeped into my top 10 games of all time.
Really?
I think it's creeped.
Wow.
It would be number 10 if it was.
Yeah.
But I got to think of 9 games that are better than it. I think I could barely give you 9.
Give me one game that's better than Last of Us. I'm just curious.
Oblivion, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Okay.
I'm
accepting those.
You know what this would probably beat out for me is Skyrim.
Wow. That
Skyrim
is crazy.
was before this like my number 10 top 10 game.
Do you think Last of Us is better than Skyrim?
Now that I'm playing Oblivion Remastered, you're damn right, baby. Because
Wow.
now I think Oblivion's now the better looking one if you play the remastered version.
Wow.
Because I always usually played Skyrim and was like, I wish I could just have Skyrim graphics in Oblivion because I liked everything about the missions in the story of Oblivion way more than Skyrim. And I know
Yeah.
Skyrim has dragons and that is cool, but that's the feel of Oblivion is just way better. Anyways, that's a whole other.
But you think
topic.
Last of Us is better than Skyrim?
I would say if I had to
Just
rank
gonna ask
them
you
right now,
3 more times.
Yeah, I'd confidently say that. I mean,
Wow.
I
I
just
think
played
for
Last of Us.
sure.
It will probably creep down.
I think for
But-
sure, but I'm not really a Skyrim guy. I mean, I'm not a big Skyrim guy, but I love Last
Dude,
of Us. so.
I would borderline say I like Fallout 4 more than Skyrim.
Okay.
So, anyways,
What
that's
do
my
you-
take on that.
What are you rating Last of Us Part 1?
This is a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow, not perfect.
Well, I mean, it's 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
You swayed me because I would say it's like way better than Marvel Rivals, and I think I gave Marvel Rivals like a 4
Right.
or a 4.5. It's a 5 out of 5.
I mean, and I think
It's amazing.
the thing is like 2 is just to me like
Is it that much better?
I personally think it is. I think Last of Us was so important for the gaming industry because I think a lot of like game developers are nervous about making a really dark game, like where you're playing a really, really bad character. And I think The Last of Us showed that like actually gamers can take that. We want amazing written story games. Then I think Last of Us 2 came and Neil Druckmann was like, okay,
Fine.
you want to play that? Try this. Play the most
We ball.
depressing, dark, horrible game. And that's one of the big controversies is like game players don't want to be only doing bad things. And it's like,
But
It
but
works.
everyone loves Last of Us 2.
one game of the year. I think it's the greatest story, just the story. I think it's the greatest story game ever written. But
Interesting.
The Last of Us is still a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
With sequels, it's hard because it's even like Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. I like to combine them as one.
Both 5 out of 5.
Same with Last of Us 1 and 2. I don't want to separate them. So I'm just going to go like both are in my top 10 as 5 out of 5s. I think it is maybe the most important story ever told in video game history.
It's easily my favorite exclusive PlayStation game.
It's got to be.
Mine
too.
No, God of War. Well, I don't know. Is this better than God of War?
No.
No. God of War 2 is the top 5er almost for me. The second one.
This is The Last of Us is definitely better than God of War, but I love God of War. Thanks everybody for listening. If I'm really curious in the comments, everybody, please tell me, did Joel do the right thing by saving Ellie? That's the big controversy.
That's the big question, everybody.
If you say yes, I'm calling the FBI. No, just kidding.
The FBI? They're going to go, I don't care about a YouTube comment.
What's the one that's like in state, in country? That's not
No,
the
FBI. CIA
okay.
is the one that goes to everybody,
Oh,
every
goes
other country.
everywhere. Okay,
Yeah.
else. Speaking of CIA and FBI, we have a RuneScape update coming up next. Let's roll it.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
This is beginning to be like my favorite part of my 2 weeks.
I'm so
that's
excited.
sweet.
I'm so excited.
We're gonna change things up a little bit. We're actually changing the name of the segment slightly. I do like RuneScape update with Nick, don't get me wrong, but I do believe that what is more applicable here would be the Ammonite Archives.
Oh,
Yeah, we're not calling it
man.
that.
Yeah, bad idea, Nick.
Well, maybe if this show gets big enough, we can have people like vote on.
I would
like,
love that.
Ooh, that's a
No,
good
dude,
idea.
can I be
I'm
honest?
kidding.
The alliteration of Ammonite archives is so juicy. I love an alliteration.
Well, and this is your section, so you do your thing, dude. This is all you.
All right, well, time for last week's recap. The Great Crab Uprising escalated as Shellos Maximus summoned our heroes, Austin, Quentin, Rylan, into the heart of Fossil Island. There, after a chaotic bonding ritual involving buzzballs, Hennessy, and a sacred Bud Light, the trio accidentally tamed a king-sized ammonite crab. With the location of the sacred buzzball core rumored to lie beneath the barrows, our heroes descend into a place where crab runes glow, ancient relics whisper, and one wrong sip could change the fate of Gielinor. And that is where we left off from last week. We have to do a little bit of a inventory update. Austin's got a Chili's Kids menu, which is interpreted as a crab map. 1 Bud Light, jalapeno
There's a lot of good food on that
tequila,
menu.
Rune Scimitar, one of those, used exclusively as a bottle opener. He
Of
He has no use to actually kill things with it. And he also has a gum-like buzzball fragment with faint magical residue.
Whoa.
Quentin has a half-drunk Bud Light, which he always seems to have a half-drunk Bud Light. I'm not.
Yep.
He never drinks it.
No. It always fills up just a halfway.
You're like the
every
guy at
single
the end
time.
of the party when you wake up and you had a party and
And it's
everybody half drank all of their beers.
yeah.
I'm that one guy over and over again.
You have like
Yes.
the glass half full curse. Like your drink is always half full,
no matter
but
how much
it's
I drink.
always half full.
Never get less than that, baby.
He also has a dual arena IOU scroll and deepening psychic bond with the king Ammonite crab.
Oh.
And last but not least, Rylan, who is absent today, of course, has a psychic.
I could call him.
You could go.
You can get him on the phone.
I guess we could get him on the
FaceTime
horn.
Get him on the horn.
He has a psychic crab link, which is unstable, a clue scroll from Shellos Maximus, and last but not least, an empty buzzball bottle with glowing, mysterious energy. And with that, we enter our next chapter.
Let's do it.
Beneath the surface of Gielinor, the Barrows Crypt loomed, its doors sealed by time, lore, and way too much crab-related magic. Shellos Maximus had warned the crew, the path will be sealed until the ritual is complete. The door was ancient, circular, and etched with glowing blue runes that looked suspiciously like a crab doing the worm. Below the runes, a small bowl-shaped pedestal, clearly meant for a liquid sacrifice. Austin pulled the jalapeno tequila from his satchel and raised an eyebrow.
If I die, I better at least get a unique drop.
He muttered. Quentin stood back, Bud Light still cradled like an artifact, and Rylan stepped forward, holding the buzzball bottle like it was a holy relic. The runes began to pulse. An unseen voice whispered through the air, tinged with foam and prophecy. The ritual begins. Fate
shoot.
shall guide you now.
We're going into a dungeon. We're doing a dungeon.
Whoa, okay, wait. I gotta
This is
drink my
Dungeons and
potions.
Crabs.
And so their first trial begins. And now, in a new fold on the Ammonite archives here on the podcast, we're live rolling a d20 to
Let's
see where this
go.
unfolds.
Let's go.
So, we are going to roll a 1d20 to determine what happens as the crew performs the ritual of entry into the Buzzball sealed crypt, armed only with a Buzzball residue, jalapeno tequila, and whatever this Mad Dog 2020 stuff is doing in Rylan's brain.
Rylan, you're on the line.
Roll the dice.
That's a 12.
It's a 12.
The runes flashed blue, then green, then a violent shade of purple that no one felt entirely good about. The ground rumbled softly, and the crab-sealed door creaked open just wide enough for the party to slip through sideways if they held their breath and didn't skip leg day, of course. Inside, a damp, narrow corridor stretched into darkness. The walls were slick with moss and etched with more glowing crab runes, some twitching slightly, like they were alive? Austin stepped in first, holding his Bud Light like a torch.
This feels like a trap, just like every Chili's bathroom I've been in.
Quentin followed, his eyes narrowing at the sigils.
If something jumps out and yells crab rave, I'm throwing this can like a holy hand grenade.
As Rylan stepped over the threshold, there was a click,
Hell
a
yeah.
subtle one. You didn't see the floor tile was different type of click. From the walls, jets of glowing foam sprayed outward, buzzball residue everywhere, activated by the ritual.
What flavor? What flavor?
To be determined.
This is Choco Chiller. I'll see you guys in a
Can't be a
bit.
Choco Chiller. Austin's hair stood straight up, and Quentin took a direct hit to the face.
No.
They were in, but the crypt had left them with a parting gift, a sticky, mildly hallucinogenic mist that now clung to their clothes and thoughts. Suddenly, Rylan stumbled forward,
cordyceps-like.
wiping foam from his eyes, and pulled something from the inside of his cloak. Rylan had a bottle of Mad Dog 2020.
Thank God, you've saved us.
And now, we must roll again. This time to determine how messed up Ryland's hallucination gets after chugging one bottle of Mad Dog 2020 in a cursed crab crypt.
What gets him the most drunk?
Higher.
20.
Give me the card. Give me the
That's a
card.
natural 20. I just made that happen. I just manifested a natural 20. Yeah, man.
This is going to be epic, actually.
Rylan, I'm so sorry you're hammered.
Buddy,
Oh my God.
you ain't making it
Let's
through
do
the
one
night.
more for
Wait, I
Rylan.
want to have,
Right,
we have
right.
to, I got to, oh, I already have some blue raz. I already have some blue raz in here.
Let's pour one for Rylan.
One out for Rylan.
So to be clear, we were
Here's for
rolling
Rylan.
a 1d20 to see,
All right, a lot of it's not good.
we were rolling a 1d20 to see how messed up Rylan would get from drinking this Mad Dog.
What's a 20?
Rylan raised the bottle of Mad Dog 2020 like it was holy water. To vision! He shouted, and chugged the whole thing in 2 enormous gulps.
I love this Rylan. This guy's awesome.
The crypt fell silent.
This is Torig.
This is literally Torg.
Time paused. The crab runes dimmed. Rylan's pupils dilated into galaxies. His body hovered 2 inches off the stone floor as a beam of neon light shot down from the ceiling, despite the fact they were very much underground. Austin squinted.
Bro, is he ascending?
He was. Rylan's arms stretched outward, and his voice echoed, layered with a dozen voices, some ancient, some inexplicably from the dual arena. I see everything.
Oh my God.
The past, the future,
He's enlightened.
the buzzball before the buzzball,
What?
the crab who first dreamed of combat. Shellos was right. And then, Rylan collapsed to the floor, motionless.
Did he just download the universe and immediately forget it?
Guess he did.
Yes, he did.
He slowly stood up,
Who are you, sir?
dusted off his cape, and looked around.
Who is that man's voice?
I had the answer, he muttered. But now all I can remember is that I love clams.
Oh no.
The crab runes pulsed, almost in laughter, and deeper in the crypt, a door slid open, not from a mechanism, but out of respect.
That's nice.
And with divine nonsense behind them, the party proceeds deeper. What awaits them now? A puzzle, a guardian, a talking keg named Chad. Only the dice will know.
Oh,
Let's roll one more time.
I hope we get the Chad keg. That sounds awesome.
There we go.
A keg named
Watch
Chad?
me get. I'm not gonna put that out in the universe, but watch it happen.
20.
9.
What's a 9 get us?
A Michelob Ultra.
The trio moved through the newly opened chamber, still sticky with buzzball residue and divine confusion. The room ahead was circular and dimly lit.
Can I just say divine confusion describes me perfectly?
With a single chest sitting in the center, shell covered, gold trimmed, suspiciously pristine.
That thing is either a legendary drop or a jump scare waiting to happen.
I don't trust anything that hasn't tried to kill us yet.
Rylan, still reeling from his Mad Dog
great
moment, stumbled toward the chest. Guys, it's fine. I'm 90% sure. It told me its name is Jeff. He placed his
Oh,
hand on the chest.
Cool.
Bro's gone.
Wow, you're hammered.
Can we just say I don't trust anything that hasn't tried to kill us yet is like such an amazing line.
Yeah.
Like we need to save that.
Thank you,
Nick just
ChatGPT.
wrote that.
I mean Nick. Thank you, Nick.
The chest opened, revealing not loot, but a pair of razor-sharp crab claws and a maw lined with the jagged rune teeth. The
Could be Dr. Zoidberg.
The mimic crab chest lunged. It wasn't real. Austin dropped his Bud Light. Quentin readied his dual arena scroll like it was a weapon, and Rylan screamed, "Jeff, no!" Combat erupted, foam, claws, chitin everywhere. In the chaos, Rylan flailed wildly and landed a single hit with his empty Mad Dog bottle.
Let's go.
The mimic
Poison
recoiled.
him.
It wasn't much, but it was enough to slap the creature's lock mechanism open, releasing a spray of scrolls and crab sigils across the chamber. The mimic retreated into the wall, defeated, embarrassed, and maybe just a little misunderstood.
Add that to the list of things we're never telling anyone.
As they caught their breath,
Am I right?
Bro, you are Nathan Drake. No, you're Leon Kennedy. You are Leon Kennedy in this campaign.
Remind me to never talk about this ever again.
I don't trust anything that hasn't tried to kill us yet.
So, Leon.
As they caught their breath, one of the scrolls landed at Austin's feet. It was marked with the same symbol carved into the coral javelin from Fossil Island. A voice echoed from the darkness. "You've made it farther than I've expected." They turned.
Oh, God.
The hooded figure stepped forward once more, this time holding 2 buzz balls. One,
Not 2.
For the price of one?
one glowing gold, and the other obsidian.
Oh, shoot.
That's a new flavor.
Wait, your choice right off the bat. What is it?
Obsidian.
Yeah, Obsidian.
It's time for the
Easy.
final roll of the episode.
Oh, shoot.
That's on you, brother. Because I rolled a 9, remember?
Does that count?
Get that. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm having the night of my life. That's another natural 20.
What was the first one?
A natural 20? I rolled 2 natural 20s in a row.
No, what was the first one that you re-rolled just now?
No, he was passing me the dice.
said that was just a pass.
All right, now he's getting all DM on us.
Okay, I just want to. I'm blocked by the screen. I want to
Listen,
make sure
so
that we're.
he rolled an 18, and I was like, does that count as a joke? And then I rolled a natural 20.
Okay. The chamber fell silent as the hooded stranger stepped forward, holding the 2 buzz balls, one glowing gold, the other pulsing black, like it contained the void itself. "You've proven yourselves," the stranger said.
Yeah, we know.
"Through foam and fire. Through foam and fire. Through Bud Light diplomacy and Mad Dog prophecy.
Yo, I got a PhD in Bud Light diplomacy. You know what
I
I
make
mean?
love to pressure.
The relic has chosen,
What?
but so must you." The stranger extended both buzzballs toward Austin. Quentin squinted.
Wait, why him?
I'm better than you. Oh, that's not the line. I don't know, man. I think the tequila gave me divine luck.
The gold buzzball floated upward,
I like divine luck.
spinning in the air before zipping into Austin's chest like a lightning bolt made of citrus. A pulse rippled through the room. Crab runes across the walls lit up one by one until the whole chamber glowed like an underwater rave. I didn't put the rave part in there, by the way. I think it's just starting to learn who I am.
Yeah.
A voice.
That's so
Shellos Maximus himself. I'm getting stoked now. I to be fair, guys, I haven't heard this story yet either. So, like, we're all on this journey together.
Dude, I'm like 2 natural 20s in a row, and I got this because of the I'm just like on a high right now. I need to play D.
Literally,
D&D
this is
and
gonna
not
be a
DM.
40-minute
DMing sucks.
This is going to be a 40-minute RuneScape segment.
Who
I'm so
cares?
excited. This is great. A
Your
voice.
guys' podcast 3 hours.
Shellos Maximus himself echoed across dimensions. The champion has been chosen. The Buzzblade shall awaken. From the center of the room, a stone dice rose, revealing a weapon unlike any seen before. A sword forged from a melted buzzball core, wrapped in jalapeno vines, and glowing with the sacred energy of canned regret.
Is that what I think it is?
The Buzzblade. Austin reached out and grasped it. The lights dimmed. The chamber rumbled.
What?
Rylan, still high on Mad Dog visions, whispered,
Rylan, wake up!
"I can smell the future."
Leave him behind.
Actually, what?
But as the relic fused to its new bearer, the hooded figure lowered their hood, revealing a crab-like mask and eyes that shimmered with foam. "Enjoy your moment," they said, backward into the darkness. "Next time, the tide turns." The chamber went black.